7 reasons why the worst SJWs tend to be white women. Hey, it's Prince of Queens. And while there are definitely some horrible SJWs of every gender and skin color, I have to say the most common obnoxious SJWs that I come across are white women. Also, they are extra irritating because the more I research it, the more I realize that they are almost unanimously even more privileged than I am. And I'm a fucking prince. Reason number 1 why they are the most annoying. They were all raised like fucking princesses. I figured I'd start with that one because, obviously, but also just because I remember so many of these girls from early schooling. I even made an entire video about what I call feminist teacher's pet syndrome, which you should go check out if you want to hear a longer explanation. Truthfully, all of the girls I knew who were not completely favored growing up didn't end up as rabid feminists. But the teacher's pets and quiet good girls seem to unanimously be fourth wave intersectional feminist SJWs now. Why is this? Might it possibly have something to do with the fact that they were spoiled? Reason number 2, they expect to be treated differently than other people on the internet. All the talk from feminists about male entitlement, and these people literally can't get into a fucking flame war online without saying they suffered from some sort of gendered harassment and threatening to call the cops. And yes, white women have actually had people arrested for Twitter arguments. Look at the case of Stephanie Guthrie versus Gregory Allen Elliott in Toronto. I am fairly sure the worst thing he said was that her ass was fat or something, and he spent a night in jail. I think feminists expect the same double standards of treatment as they often got in class, and white women were usually treated the best of all by every teacher, besides maybe some Asian women, but there weren't so many of those. In class, they could totally be the aggressor in a conflict against a boy, and all they had to do was start crying for any stupid reason, and they could get the boy in trouble. And now they expect the same double standard on the fucking internet. It is the most frustrating thing in the universe, but if you've ever argued with SJWs, and especially if you are a male, you know that they pull the gender card all the time online and use it as an excuse to be blatantly abusive if they want to, so you're probably used to it. Reason number 3 is that they are usually trans trenders. Ugh. You see, every feminist white woman has realized by now that she can be considered even more oppressed if she is trans, and she'll almost always want to do this, as victimhood is a very valuable currency. Except, of course, she isn't trans, and deep down, she is probably subconsciously aware of all her inherent privileges as a cis feminine white woman, so she'll never even consider transitioning. She just cuts her hair short and proclaims that she's non-binary, or sometimes she just skips the haircut entirely and just calls herself non-binary. Because of the plethora of articles about non-binary femmes, this identity is more than justified within SJW culture, and she can now utilize this label as a way to order people around. She can find a gay guy talking about something having to do with distinctly the gay male population that is completely unrelated to her on Facebook and insert herself into the conversation. For example, this just happened to me today. When a gay guy says, "I don't see why you even care, you're a woman," she now has the power and self-proclaimed moral high ground to start a fight with him, not just about misgendering her by assuming she was a woman, which she is, but also she might even go on and say that she should be included in the discussion about gay male issues because she, a woman, considers herself sort of a gay man. Yes, this really does happen, and if you are a gay guy that comes across somebody like this, never get drunk around her. You've been warned. Reason number 4, the white woman genuinely seems to believe that being fat is an identity and that it places them in the category of an oppressed minority. Ugh. Again, I think they're doing this because deep down they know that white women are already super privileged, but they want more. The gluttons are downright greedy, and they want to be able to eat whatever they want and be rewarded for it with oppression points. Not just do they think that they can brainwash heterosexual men into being attracted to them, but a lot of them, like Kitty Stryker and Lindy West, have made a decent amount of money from writing about it. Of course, this is not enough money for it to be worth the fact that the entire world is laughing at them, but I am not sure anybody has told them this yet because they have everybody blocked on social media besides maybe other fat women and KFC? Reason number 5, they can make every conversation about feminism because that's the only thing they have to talk about. This one is actually rather amusing because you can make a game out of it. Like, you can totally troll all over Facebook, getting into political discussions and drinking every time a white woman brings up a feminist buzzword like patriarchy, misogyny, rape culture, or toxic masculinity. You don't have to be talking about anything related, of course. A black male friend of mine just yesterday posed the question on his timeline, do white people ever get offended by things they consider racist? And this white woman said that she gets offended when she is sexually objectified, but then pointed out that maybe that isn't because of her race, but more so because of misogyny. Like, what the fuck? How on earth did she think anybody would care about that as a response in the context of him asking a question about racism? Nobody cares that people sexually objectify you. Every conversation is not an excuse to humble brag about the plight of white women. And for the record, bringing it up in the context of a black guy asking white people if they feel like it's some sort of racism, it's like she's saying that she considers it a racist violation when a black guy is sexually attracted to her or something. Is that what she's trying to say? Because that's weird and racist. Reason number 6, they don't understand that gender is not a social class. This one really bugs me because although these people repeat this, they don't understand where it comes from, which is this weird cultural Marxism stretch of the imagination where they decided that absolutely everybody was either privileged unanimously by any given character trait or oppressed unanimously by the character trait, forgetting conveniently that not a single character trait comes without the occasional perk, including severe chronic pain, and the Oxycontin and disability checks that come along with it. Regardless, women are not oppressed in probably the majority of instances in the West, and they aren't even a social class at all. They are a gender, and they exist in every social class. Every race, economic bracket, and religion includes women. Still, white SJWs cling to this idea because, well, without it, they'd have nothing else if they are female. Finally, number 7, they believe everything they've been told about female oppression because it has made their lives easier and allowed them to feel less guilty about things. This one is simple enough, but you've likely encountered it over the past few months if you have tried to talk to any normally apolitical, but now heavily Clinton-supporting white women on Facebook. They'll readily believe all of the wage gap and campus rape dishonesties because, again, without those things, they'd basically just be a privileged white male with a vagina. And they can't have that. Okay, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this, drop me a like and stay tuned.